We're going to make a quick and easy Millifiori cane. So some of you know how to do this, but if you're new to clay, this is a great way to learn how to do some Millifiori without feeling too intimidated. So I'm taking white clay, and my hands are a little bit dirty. You can clean it with a baby wipe, but it doesn't matter because I'm wrapping it in black anyway. And we're going to make a little marshmallow out of this ball of clay. Just compress it and roll it and flatten it a bit. I've already rolled out some black polymer clay on a real thin setting, and we're going to just wrap this right around it. So we'll lay it on our work surface and trim it so that it's as wide as this little marshmallow is long. This goes out of the way. And you want to start with a nice clean edge at the beginning of your wrap. So it looks like that. And we're going to roll. So watch this. This is a slick trick. Rolling up and rolling back. And I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm going to angle it a little bit and see if we can get light. There's a little line that the front end of our wrap creates in the clay. And we can cut just inside that line, and that shows us, and then our clay will wrap right up to that seam. Okay? Now we're going to reduce this by squeezing and compressing. We don't have to worry about distortion, so we can actually roll this to make it smaller. So this is a lot of leaves. This is enough for me to make several dozen pendants, believe it or not, just this little bit. So I don't need that much. We'll start with a little bit there, and I'm going to roll it. Now when you work with Millifiori, most of the time you don't do much rolling. But there's nothing inside of my design that can distort or twist, so we can just reduce it down that way. I'd like leaves that are about 1/8 of an inch across diameter when I've got this rolled down, so we'll cut a little off, and I've got more to save for later. Then we're going to pinch it on just one edge, okay? And that makes our teardrop shape. So now we're working teeny tiny. And the way we cut a teardrop shape is we cut not straight down through with our blade, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. We cut down like we're skiing down a mountain, like our blade is the skier. We start at the top and we pull down in an angular motion with every slice. Again, your clay will be firmer after it's had a chance to rest. And then we're going to flip it with every slice. And by doing that, we help avoid distortion and maintain that shape. And again, looking straight down over your blade gives you the chance to be a little bit more precise in your striping. So we come back to the center here, and let's take a look real quick at some designs. There's designs that are more complicated in Millifiori where you can introduce a vein line inside. I'm going to show you a trick how we can create that illusion. And here I've used 4 leaves. Here I've used 3. In this one I've used 8. Okay? So a lot of different designs in that tiny little canvas. So what we would do, let's just do a quick one with 4. And I'm going to pick up my slices and I'm going to go in from the corners on this one. And if you find you do have distortion in your background clay, in this case it's white, you can always go in there with a needle tool or a toothpick or a stylus and stipple the background and camouflage that. So these all get aligned with the corners in the middle and you can adjust them. And that little trick about making it look like there's a vein line in there, you can take a toothpick or a needle tool or an awl and you can usually drag down through the middle and that will create the illusion of a vein line. Sometimes you pick up a little of that black clay. And lastly, because the centers usually don't look too good, I'm going to camouflage that. Again, it's all about hiding the things you don't like in your work and emphasizing the things you do. So a little ball of black clay pressed into the middle, and we're going to finish that off with a little flat-back Swarovski crystal. I'm going to take this wonderful crystal katana here, whoops, push a little bit harder and pick it up, and set it in the middle and press it down in place. And that black clay is going to come right up around there and make a frame that creates a natural bezel, locking it in place, and also make sure that the stone won't fall out. So that's especially nice if you're working with a non-hot fix stone, but I do prefer the Swarovski hot fix. So again, I would come in here, do 4 more leaves, and we would cap off the center and bake it 5 or 10 minutes to heat set, and it's going to look like that. Now we need to hang it. So you have a lot of options. And my favorite is to use a glue-on bail, and you might design from this perspective so that it faces square, or you might do it from an angular perspective in a corner. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be a bail. It can be a piece of wire or an eye pin. It can also be a decorative jump ring that you sandwich between another layer of clay. So after baking, I would roll out some clay thick enough to sandwich and support my bail. I'd glue that in place first, cover it up. I would texture it, and then I'd trim it. And let's take a look here. Here's one I textured with some coarse sandpaper and trimmed it up. So you've got a truly finished look from the front to the back. You can even extend an eye pin, putting a little bend in the middle so it doesn't pull out or it can't twist on you, to make little dangles and really enhance your work even more. So just because it's a smaller crystal doesn't mean you can't play with it and enhance it and add to it with clay. And I think you can see here that the two are a really beautiful combination together. So if you've enjoyed this project, don't forget to share it with your friends and your family members. Put it on your Facebook page or Pinterest or wherever you like in your social networking. And thank you so much for coming to play around with me today at Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Design Studio.